heavy.
Bored.
Well, I'm curious about your guys' relationship to like online publishing versus paper publishing is because like when I graduated from undergrad, like online magazines, literary magazines were new. Like that wasn't really hadn't been around, and there was a lot of reticence around like, is this still good to publish a story or a poem in these online forums? And I kind of just like went for it. I don't know, and that's like where I published a lot of my work. Some was like in old school paper, but like I like the online sort of weird things. But I don't know if now that's totally gone away. But that was a part of my, like, I felt like I could finish a story if I published it, even if it wasn't in like the New Yorker. Like I was like, okay, I can put this away and move on. It's like a CV line, even if it's like something no one's ever heard of, like,
right.
Which I don't think is generally the advice that like is given, like just publish something in a weird place. But I don't know. I just think it's an interesting conversation that I never really talk about with anybody. So I'm curious what you guys think.
They will give that advice to poets. They will say, just, publish. But it's also, I think, a lot easier to get published, at least in journals as a poet, maybe not in like the top journals, but there are so many out there, and so many that are so very niche. I mean, I imagine the same is true for fiction. But I think because poets have more, it's a smaller commitment, you can submit several things and not be losing an entire body of work like to one place. Also for me, I think when we were in undergrad, online journals were coming in and print journals were starting to disappear. I think that was pretty obvious, or they were shifting to maybe we put out one print copy a year and the rest of it is online. We put it out like some kind of cumulative, this was the best of. And that was a thing. But I think one thing that at least I was sort of torn on was like a lot of the hottest journals that were still like top tier were the ones that were still putting out print. And those were the ones that were going to put you in the hands of the best writers, the writers that were in positions that might get you noticed, and then endless other positions. But we do still say, like, more people have access to you if you publish in an online journal.
Right.
Will more people necessarily read you? No.
Well, no. Nobody reads journals. Yeah, even writers are not subscribing.
Yeah, people are going to read you if they, see you posted by one of the, it doesn't even have to be like one of the big journals. It could just be a literary journal from a well-known school or like a decent program, right? But,
the thing with these, like, the way like the online, and Lee, we're roughly around the same age, all three of us here. You graduated undergrad around 2012-ish.
2011, winter 2011,
Winter 2011. So like around that time this was when the smartphone, social media apps were taking over everything. And this kind of, it was like when we got out of undergrad, the online journals were garbage, right? It hadn't made the switch yet. We haven't done the switch. We hadn't done like where the big time New Yorkers and even like the smaller kind of mid-tier ones they didn't start to switch to online yet because everything we were still in that kind of transition period. So it is interesting to see this. I think if you want to get read, the online stuff gets you read because people can just click on it and see it whenever it's up there in the servers, right? You just Google the name, or like Lee said, you have a website. Somebody can go to your website and just click on all the little links to the publications, all the little websites that we've got published on and stuff. So that helps. But there was this like rejection of like it's not as good or not as prestigious.
Not as prestigious.
There is something to seeing your work in a printed page. Like I like seeing the printed page, but then it's also like, you write for yourself and all, but at the same time, you don't want to put on a play that nobody sees, right? Like you don't want to just like put on something that like nobody goes to or any of this. And it's hard enough, just
or
getting
like
your friends
publish
and family.
in the magazine that's called like Pussy Trash, volume 42, even though they'll take your work,
Right.
The Pussy Warrior Review.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends what your end goal
I mean,
is. Right?
I don't know. I might publish in Pussy Warrior.
Pussy Warrior.
Pussy Trash actually sounds kind of great.
You should start that.
Pussy Trash magazine.
Yeah.
We're always on volume 42.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I guess I always thought that I had an unconventional trajectory to publishing a book with a major publisher because like I never was good at winning contests. Like I feel like in fiction too, there's a lot of these contests and that wasn't my world. And then like I never published stories in big magazines and it was just like, okay. And then I have a book with a major publisher, but it was like that shouldn't really make sense. So I always say like, and if I'm giving advice, like every story is different. Like I can give you general advice, like have a website, like, you know, understand what the teaching academic world looks like sort of broad strokes, but I feel like everyone's publishing journey, so to speak, is so individualized. I don't know. It's fucking crazy. I've heard it's gotten even crazier since the pandemic, which we could discuss. But yeah,
dude. I mean, I don't know if you still fuck with like Submittable or anything like that. Still at your
barely. I need to be doing that, but I'm.
Well, I just mean with an agent, you get a little bit of like because I know I see this with young writers a lot. People that'll post in our forums here for the podcast, or just like I'll scroll the timeline and see things, and it's like. You know, when people are like, "Oh, I got rejected from Granta, I got rejected from the New Yorker, I got rejected from Harper," and it's like, yeah, because you're not getting in those. I know they say, you know, submit to the slush pile, and you should keep submitting to the slush pile if you don't, but like you're not getting into those really top tier ones without agent placement, even for poets, guys. All right, like if you don't have somebody fighting for you with everybody else trying to get their stuff on those pages, those coveted, you know, 80 pages that they print every month, you're just not. It's probably not going to happen for you. I think maybe that used to not be the case. I don't know. Maybe before our time, where like you could just mail it in to Louise Bogan and she would publish your poem if she liked it.
Right.
But like it's just not. You just have to have somebody in your corner like that. I think everybody does it's frustrating. I mean, we're all frustrated going, and even as Lee's saying, the frustration doesn't end just because of that either. Like you're still fighting with everybody else now. So now you have an agent. It's like, okay, well now you're just slogging with everybody else as an agent too, because everybody's going up, and it just gets harder.
Resources, American resources.
Being bored. It shows such a lack of gratitude for life. Bored. I aspire to boredom, I should say.
Bored. Heavy.
I am heavy.
Bored.
Has you the night sweats and the day sweats, pal? Pal, I do.